Welcome to this week's episode of Talk of the Town. My name's Philip Swicegood, and we are so glad that you are back with us this week. I'm back with my good friend, Dr. Kenneth Harper from Vein Specialist of the South. Now listen, spring is here, summer's just around the corner, so if you've seen some veins that you have some questions about, please, by all means, give Dr. Harper and the talented team at Vein Specialist of the South a call, and they'll get you the answers that you deserve. We also want to thank this week's presenting sponsor, which is Piedmont Macon. Piedmont provides comprehensive quality care for all of your medical needs. Thanks so much to Piedmont for making this show possible. Now, if you're just waking up on Saturday morning, say it's 6:30 a.m., you've poured that first cup of coffee, you flipped on 13 WMAZ, and you're wondering, what in the world is Talk of the Town? Here's what you could expect week in and week out. A conversation between me, Dr. Harper, and someone in the community that's doing something or has a story that we think you should know about. This week is no exception because we are here in beautiful Perry, Georgia, with Anya Turpin, who is the executive director of Visit Perry. Anya is going to tell us all about Perry and everything that you can expect if you come to visit Perry. Anya, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
So we are pumped to be in Perry, Georgia, because this really is one of the hidden gems in the state. There's not enough people that really talk about Perry, and if you come here, there's so much to experience, but we're here in downtown Perry specifically. And so I'm just curious, if someone who maybe they've only been through Perry going to the beach or going on vacation, what could someone expect if they come to downtown Perry, Georgia?
I think they can expect something unexpected. We have a lot of conversations with people who either know where Perry is because they have driven by on the interstate and seen the clock tower from the freeway. They see it at the fairgrounds, but they haven't actually stopped. And it's very fun to tell that story of just beyond the interstate, less than a mile from the interstate. There is not only the Georgia National Fairgrounds and Agri Center, but there's also historic downtown Perry. And usually they walk away from that conversation with absolutely, next time I'm on 75 and I'm driving by, I'm getting off and I'm stopping.
What exactly would you say is what surprises people the most whenever they come to Perry for the first time?
I think what surprises people is how instantly familiar and comfortable they feel. They immediately feel at home. You can let your guard down here. You're not going to be stressed, whether you're just passing through or you've been driving from Chicago and you're going all the way to Miami to catch a cruise. You might have been white knuckling it through, interstate traffic or just a stressful day. Immediately, once you pull off the interstate, you're going to feel a sense of peace. Perry is a very peaceful place. You're going to feel very welcome and you're going to feel instantly familiar. It's not a challenging city to navigate. You're not going to have to download an app to pay for parking and all these other things that people might be used to while they're traveling. You are instantly going to want to spend more time here.
Actually, there's a downtown.
There's a beautiful downtown.
Right. With a lot of old historic buildings.
Yes.
Has a charm to it.
It does.
Right. You were telling me about all these festivals. I mean, you want to share like some of the award-winning festivals, tell the people a little bit about them because they might want to come attend the next time they're on?
Yes. So one of my favorite conversations with people is, oh, we know about the Perry Fair. And first and foremostly, it's not the Perry Fair. It's the Georgia National Fair held every October. But a lot of people think of Perry and they think of just that fair. And while that is fantastic, it's 11 days of fun and it brings over 500,000 people to Perry, there is literally 364 days outside of that still we have festivals, events, things to do. And so we really love telling people about our events calendar. Our website specifically does highlight pretty much all of the events that are taking place, and that's everything from a paint night at our local paint studio or our cat cafe hosting a unique activity to large things like the International Festival, the Georgia National Rodeo, the Dogwood Festival, events downtown. So we really do try to serve as a one-stop source for all of those festivals and events. But yes, Perry is home to a number of award-winning events, 3 of which have been named the top 20 signature events of the Southeast by the Southeastern Tourism Society. We're very proud of that accolade. The Georgia National Rodeo was a recipient, the Georgia National Fair was a recipient, and the Perry International Festival was a recipient. So we're very proud to have those 3 specifically named top 20. But beyond that, we also have an award-winning wine tasting. Our New Year's Eve Buzzer Drop has won awards. Our Perry Presents Music Festival has won awards. So there is no shortage of both national and regional award-winning events in Perry.
So if people reach out to you and they say, hey, we want to come to town for maybe a long weekend for a holiday, what do you suggest that they look at doing while they're here?
one of my first questions would be whether it's a family coming, a retired couple, and try to figure out what their interest and their demographics are. If it's a family, we obviously have the Go Fish Education Center out at the fairgrounds. That is a fantastic facility for young ones to get introduced to the great outdoors. I think
It's amazing.
it's amazing.
Have you been
Incredible.
there?
I've been. My kid has fallen in the lake there. I mean,
Oh.
we got it firsthand.
Not something we recommend doing.
Philip, he's actually a professional fisherman.
Oh,
I'm
Yeah.
an attempted professional fisherman. If
Did
I
you-
had not met a blonde-headed girl when I was 21, I would have tried to have been a professional, but she talked me out of that.
I think you should maybe volunteer to work at Go Fish sometime.
That's going to be my
Right.
retirement job.
There you
I'm
go.
going to retire and come here and work in Perry at the Go Fish Center.
yes, the Go Fish Education Center is fantastic. I think everyone can agree that whether you are a child or an adult, we all spend a lot of time indoors, online, and so Go Fish kind of gets you back to that root of spending time outside, but it's also really cool because it's very specific to Georgia. So it talks a lot about Georgia ecosystems, Georgia fish,
Right.
and it teaches children to get engaged with the
It's
fishing
more
culture.
than fishing.
It is
It
more than
is.
fishing.
Because-
They also have alligators.
Yes.
They have alligators, and the number of fish they have there is
Yes.
unbelievable.
Right.
I was stunned.
But beyond that, we also want to know, what are they interested in? What types of foods do they like? How long are they staying for? We do everything in terms of making recommendations for the hotel that is the best fit for you to what, there's parks, there's lakes, there's outdoor recreation, there are free activities, there's paid activities. So we really do serve as kind of a concierge to make sure that people are planning their trip the way that they want to enjoy it. Our visitor guide is a big part of that too. Our visitor guide does highlight the top 10 activities to do in Perry as well as the top 10 outdoor activities. But we really do just try to be that personal connection in making sure that people know what's in Perry and then that it fits for your interest.
Now, you're the executive director of Visit Perry. What exactly do you guys do here in Perry? What's like your role in this?
No 2 days are the same. I
No
will
two-
say that. Tourism is one of the most exciting jobs in the world, though, because you really are working with people on their best days. People who are planning vacations typically tend to be happy and excited and in a good mood. People who are traveling, unless, God forbid, your car broke down on the interstate and you're stuck in Perry, but even
Yeah.
still, we're going to try to make it a good day. But typically, it's a lot of marketing. We are the promotional arm of Perry, so we are tasked with marketing the city as a destination. We work with a lot of festival and event coordinators to help play a role in promoting what they're doing. We work with a lot of the local restaurants, hotels, retail shops, try to encourage, obviously, people to come and spend money in Perry, boost our economy. The hotels are how we are funded. We are funded through the hotel motel tax. So it is important that we are servicing back to our hotels and really trying to drive heads and beds, pulling people off the interstate, bringing conventions, bringing tourism to Perry. So marketing is a huge part of it, but also just being available to help answer questions, work with people who are visiting, and make sure that the time they spend in Perry is the best that it can be.
Can I ask you this? What's the number one thing that drives visitors to Perry? What's that thing that's getting them in the front door?
Yeah, I would say it's actually two different things, and it's very much it's hard to balance which one is bigger, but they are both very important. I would say the Georgia National Fairgrounds and Agri Center. They are constantly bringing in competitions, contests, conventions, things that are international. I don't think people I did not understand the scope of what takes place at the Georgia National Fairgrounds and Agri Center until I started this position. People do not understand how truly busy that facility stays year round and how many people come from around the world to compete there. So I would say the Georgia National Fairgrounds is a huge contributor to Perry's tourism success. I would also state our interstate position. We are immediately off I-75.
They're so close.
We are, and just coming off of going to a travel show circuit in Florida, we heard from a lot of people that by the time they hit that Georgia line, they're ready to take a break, they're ready to rest. Yeah. Perry makes a great stop before you hit kind of that metro Atlanta area. Just kind of a breath of fresh air, pause, whether it's for dinner in a hotel or whether it's just for lunch. It's a great place to stop and kind of take a break before you hit that next leg of your travel. And then, of course, our historic downtown as well. That is a draw, whether it is for a festival or an event, or if it's just, a regular Thursday evening. Perry is a beautiful place to visit. And the historic downtown that we have is unique to Houston County. And it truly is a hidden gem. So we love telling people about that.
Good. Now, when you were growing up, did you ever envision you would be have this career and job?
I always knew that I wanted to work in the hospitality industry. I grew up in Hawaii. I envisioned being a dolphin trainer when I was a child. So this is a far cry from that. But I definitely knew that I wanted to work in the hospitality industry and work with people when they are on vacation, because travel and vacations and just that mindset has always been so special to me. I truly think travel is important.
Well, I have an idea. Maybe you could go fish, like get
To
some
bring a
dolphins out
dolphin.
there, right? And you could do both.
We got
I
it.
don't know.
We
I
got
mean,
it.
I do think that we have Georgia dolphins on the Atlantic Ocean, so
That's
that
right.
would fit in Georgia's
It would fit,
ecosystem.
yeah.
Never know.
We can make a case for it.
They
Yes.
might eat the largemouth bass. You never know. I want to ask you a question about the growth that Perry has seen, specifically over the past 10 years. But first, I need to take a break to hear a word from our sponsor.
I'm a certified health coach who loves helping others. My personal health journey started a little over a year ago. I began by walking, then I started playing pickleball. After losing over 100 pounds, my legs were still bothering me because of pain and bulging veins. I needed help, and all my friends recommended Vein Specialists of the South. I learned at my appointment that vein disease only gets worse without treatment and didn't realize how bad my vein problems were. But the VSS team was there to help and customized a treatment plan that fits my active lifestyle. Every staff member I met during my procedure was informative and caring. They even played my favorite music. My legs looked and felt better right after my procedure. Just a few weeks after my procedure, I was back on the courts doing what I love. If you want better looking and feeling legs, it's time to call the best, Vein Specialist of the South.
Piedmont Macon is proud to be your partner in healthcare, in business and in the community. From our 2 convenient hospitals and ERs, our cardiac program, women's services, and urgent care centers, we provide Middle Georgians with comprehensive care close to home. Our goal is to empower you through great care that's simplified, unified, and easier than ever to access. Our mission is to make a positive difference in every life we touch. We want to be part of your family and your life and to make our community a better place to live.
It's a new season at Raphael Tire Master with huge savings on Michelin and BF Goodrich tires. For a limited time, you'll save $180 with paid installation when you purchase a set of 4 new Michelin or BF Goodrich passenger or light truck tires. Spring is the perfect time to enjoy the outdoors. So before you hit the road, head to one of our 6 Raphael Tire Master locations in Macon or Warner Robins and log on to RaphaelTire.com for more savings.
At Flint Energies, we wear many hats. We take pride in serving our members and our community by going the extra mile in everything we do. Because we not only work here, we live here. Flint Energies is a Touchstone Energy cooperative, your source for power and information.
Come have some real family fun down on the farm at Lane Southern Orchards. Grab a rocking chair on the porch while the kids play on a farm-themed playground with real tractors. Stroll through our huge indoor roadside market filled with fresh produce, gourmet treats, local wines, craft beers, and authentic souvenirs. Enjoy breakfast and lunch at the Peachtree Cafe. Make sure to save room for our homemade peach cobbler and ice cream. Open daily. Take I-75 to exit 142.
Hey, this is Dr. Harper. I want to welcome you to our interview of Elizabeth today. She's been a patient at Vein Specialists of the South, and I want her to share a little bit about her experience and things that people might want to know about how that went.
Well, I am a certified athletic trainer, and I work at a manufacturing facility where I am on my feet for a lot of the day. Outside of that, I am a wife and a mother of 2 small children, so they also keep me very busy. And as far as my experience with Vein Specialists of the South, I, after pregnancies, was starting to develop bulging veins. And even as a teenager, I had the spider veins, the ugly purple veins. So I'd had, a little lack of confidence there with that. So, but it was really after the newborn phase, just kind of ready to get back to normal, that I figured it was time to do something about my legs. So I knew who to call. I knew to call Vein Specialist of the South because I hear on the radio and the TV all the time. So I made a call, and I had my initial evaluation and ultrasound, and learned so much about my legs and the severity that I was of my legs, the condition that I was dealing with. And so from there, it was recommended for me to go through with a procedure with you, Dr. Harper. And everything was great. It went well. There's no complaints, no regrets. By the 5th day, I was up and walking, and walking even a mile. So very little downtime.
So if you have friends that are watching this, what would you tell them if they have vein problems?
If you're ever curious, or if you're ever hesitant, if you wanted to know a little bit more about what you are visibly seeing, make an appointment for the evaluation. You'll learn so much from Dr. Harper's staff.
Well, thank you for coming on with us today.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
Welcome back to Talk of the Town. We are here with Anya Turpin, who's the Executive Director of Visit Perry here in beautiful downtown Perry. Anya, again, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
So Anya, one of the things that I keep hearing is just how much downtown Perry, and Perry in general, is booming. As a Middle Georgia guy who's lived here my whole life, I keep hearing from realtors about how, especially over the past 10 years, Perry specifically has just exploded in demand. You actually said something that kind of caught my eye when we were talking earlier, that if you look at downtown Perry, that there is not a single business that is boarded up. Everything is open. There's demand for everything. And that's really not something that you can say about a lot of other places around the actual state. Why do you think that is? And tell me about some of these fun businesses that are actually coming to Perry.
Sure. So I think a lot of it is a reflection of what we were talking about earlier about how immediately once you get off the interstate and you get past some of those commercial chains, a mile off the interstate sits historic downtown Perry. You instantly feel at home. Even if you leave, you feel drawn back to it. I know I did when we were considering moving to Georgia. We came down, we visited. As soon as I left, I said, I want to be back there. So I think that people feel instantly familiar, instantly at home here, and they want to make themselves at home in Perry. As far as the growth is concerned for tourism, we've seen a substantial amount of growth, especially within the past year. 4 new hotels have been added to our inventory in 2025, and that's huge. Beautiful new hotels, a dual branded property out at the fairgrounds. We have the Candlewood Suites off of 136, and then also the Hilton Garden Inn off of 136. So we have seen a lot of growth in our hotel inventory. Another area of just drastic growth is our restaurant scene. Perry is now known as a Middle Georgia dining destination. We have won awards in Savor Georgia magazine. Our restaurants continue to grow and thrive. So we are very excited, not only for our tourism scene, but also as locals to have more options for dining.
So thinking about events that are springtime events, because this show will be on soon, and what would people need to look out for maybe in April, May, early June?
Sure.
If
So
you want to highlight.
Yeah, so in April, we obviously have the Dogwood Festival. That's a huge one that comes up every April. The Spring Wine Tasting is an award-winning event that has been awarded by the Georgia Downtown Association. It sells out almost every single year, and it's really neat because it is a fundraiser for the preservation of historic downtown Perry. So every dollar that is raised from that event goes directly back into the preservation of our historic downtown. So you can drink and do something great for your community.
That's right.
Yes. In May, we also have, some downtown events. Our Food Truck Friday events are being rebranded. They're changing a little bit, but we're still having those food truck events. We have lawn concerts and things like that. Obviously, towards the summer.
Food truck every Friday?
Oh, Lord, no.
Okay. so it's one Friday.
It is, yes. It's certain months of the year.
Okay.
We do get that question a lot. Is it a Food Truck Friday every Friday? And the honest answer is just no. It takes a lot of work to put these festivals and events on.
But you can go to the website and find out when it is, right?
visitperry.com/events will let you know exactly when things are happening. But no, the Food Truck Fridays and those types of events only take place certain months of the year. Just because of the capacity. People don't realize how much fire department, police department, public works, it takes a village to put on an event. Yes.
So everybody's walking in the street. The streets are shut down for the most part. I've been here before. It was pretty cool.
Yeah.
I've heard the food trucks are amazing, though. The selection's incredible.
Yeah, food trucks are another thing that, we've had those coming to Perry since 2018 and they've evolved over the years.
Yeah.
But the great thing that I've seen from my perspective, having worked in special events and then now in this position, is we used to have to be very reliant on the food trucks because we didn't have the number of restaurants downtown that were needed to sustain the amount of people who were coming. And we have now seen a significant increase in locally owned restaurants downtown to where we can host events and not have to rely so heavily on food trucks, because those restaurants that are locally owned, local businesses that are ingrained in our community, putting back into the economy of Perry, that they can now sustain these visitors who are coming downtown.
Wow. Now, Anya, I mentioned my blonde-headed wife earlier, okay? We have a 3-year-old
And blue eyes.
And blue eyes, that's right. Blonde hair, blue eyes. The reason I'm not a professional fisherman, it's okay. So we have a 3-year-old and an 8-month-old.
Okay.
And about once a month, we decide to do a date night. So we get one of the in-laws to come over to watch the kids, and we just escape. And we go somewhere. We're willing to drive a little ways. I want you to set us up for what we should do when we come to Perry. Where should we go and what should we do? Give us something fun.
Sure. So right off the cuff, I would tell your in-laws or whoever's watching the children to take them to Peachy Playtown. If you don't know about Peachy Playtown, it's an indoor soft play place in Perry. So they can have a little date night, fun night of their own. That is perfect for young ones. I believe the age cap is about 6 or 7.
Wow.
And so, little ones can go and hang out with their parents, with the grandparents, with siblings. It's a very fun environment. For you all, depending on your time, I would recommend obviously staying in one of our hotels. If you were to pick something like the dual branded Marriott at the fairgrounds or the Hilton Garden Inn, you could have dinner downtown at one of our restaurants and then wake up the next morning and have breakfast in your hotel. Both of those hotels have fantastic breakfast options. So that would be my first recommendation. But I always encourage people to check our events calendar, because what's happening in Perry is really going to differ depending on what events are taking place. We talked a little bit about off the air about an event that had just taken place not too long ago, where there was a Florida Peacemaker shootout at the fairgrounds. And that is a completely free event that you can just walk up and watch horseback riders shooting targets. Completely free. So you find what works for you, whether you want to spend money on something, whether you want to have a low budget date, whether you want something that's very easy, whether you want something that you have to make a reservation for. We've got a little bit of everything.
Yeah. Can you give me a few of the restaurants that are down here? I know it's like picking children for someone in your position, but
I was going to say, we've got a front and back rec card, so we've got a whole list to go through. But, some of the things that definitely visitors are always naming. The Swanson is iconic. That has been there for over 2 decades. It's historic dining on Carroll Street. It's that Southern traditional comfort food. The Perfect Pair has also been in historic downtown for over a decade, and that's going to be kind of a twist on Southern food. It's still fine dining, chef curated dishes, but it's not the same type of Southern food as the Swanson serves. And that's what I love about Perry, is you can have these different personal takes on what could be the same dish. It's going to be completely different. Oliver Perry's, Trattoria di Napoli, Clover Wine Merchant, and Orleans on Carroll are going to be some upscale dinner date options. We've got very, comfortable, casual date night options for Bodega Brew, Ghost Runner Pizza. Those are going to be fun, eclectic places to go to that often have live music or game nights or things to do. And then if you've got the family with you, we've got Scoopology, we've got Home Slice Pizza. I'm sure I'm forgetting at least a dozen, because there's so many restaurants here now.
Don't get mad at her, okay?
That's right. That's right.
Don't get mad. I promise I promote you all everywhere I go. But no, it's a good problem to have that we have so many options, because like I said, people do love to eat, and we have to eat 3 times a day. So especially for these families and these groups that are coming to the fairgrounds for a competition, they may stay here for 7 days. They're going to need to eat a lot while they're here.
They're going to eat somewhere.
Yes. And unlike a hotel where you may stay at the same hotel the whole time you're here, most people are going to want to get out and try different things. And our local community also supports our restaurants too. Our locals love to support local, and I love that about Perry.
Anya, could you share with us about Visit Perry and the team? It must be a huge team for everything y'all do. Could you tell us how you pull that off and what a day normally looks like for you guys?
Yeah, so we are a team of 2 people. We have 2 full-time staff. It is myself and Becky Wilson who works with me. We have a board of 9 members who meet once a month to kind of go over our finances, our ideas, and just discuss plans for the future. But on the day-to-day, it is me and Becky doing the legwork for Visit Perry. We are very hands-on. It's a small but mighty team. We are fully ingrained in everything that we put out. We manage our own social media content. We curate all of our publications that we put out, whether it's our visitor guide, rack cards, any type of supplemental materials, maps, or things that we put out with the Visit Perry brand on it are typically made in-house by us. But we think that that's the best way to do it because we can update things frequently. We can stay on top of new restaurants opening, changes in addresses, business names, things like that. And then we can also make the visitor experience the best because we are very personally engaged in everything. So we want the visitor to get the most current content, and we want to make sure that we understand what we're putting out as well. And at the end of the day, our job is to service the visitor and make sure that they have the absolute best experience when they are planning their trip to Perry, when they're coming to Perry, and then after they leave Perry to know how to tell other people about Perry. So we do a lot of travel trade shows, festivals, events where we pop up in other communities. We've gone frequently outside of Perry, outside of Georgia, outside of the Southeast. We really try to get out as much as our budget and our schedule allows to get out and tell people about Perry, Georgia, because there truly is a sense of, oh, I've seen it, I've heard of it, I've driven by, but we want to convince them to get off the interstate, take that action, and experience Perry for yourself.
But let me ask you this, as our final question, as we move towards wrapping up here. Perry's exploded over the past 10 years. Where do you see Perry going over the next 10? If we fast forward from now, 10 years from now, I have even more gray hair at this point. Where exactly do you think Perry is then?
From the tourism perspective, we want to be really competitive whenever it comes to being the place that people choose to stop along I-75, and then also for meetings and conventions. We are a perfect place for people to choose to host their meetings and conventions with the Georgia National Fairgrounds and Agri Center in their meeting space, combined with historic downtown Perry, our proximity in Middle Georgia, our 4 exits off the interstate, very easy access. It's a easy to navigate community, so you're not coming here hosting a convention or a meeting and everyone's stressed out and tired. You can actually really enjoy the day after the meetings. So I really would like to see us become a much more prominent choice whenever people are making selections for their meetings and events. But then also I just think that at the end of the day, I think it's very important for us to keep our, what makes us special. What makes us Perry. I think it's important for us to maintain that integrity of our historic downtown, our wonderful festivals and events, and then just our people. I think that our people are very special. And so making sure that no matter how much we grow, we still remain true to who we are.
Anya, this was great. We love this conversation. I have some new restaurant options now to take my wife on a date night, so thank you.
Absolutely.
That's amazing, and this was great. We really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me.
And thank you guys for joining us again this week. And stay tuned for where me and Dr. Harper might show up next, because you never know where it might be.